All right, all right. Back to the lounge, the World Cup lounge today here with Chris. Chris is obviously supporting England, as you can see, very well dressed. By the way, that shirt was brilliant for us, Portugal. I'm not sure if you agree with me, but in any case, really excited to hear your opinion about today's game. Obviously, England starts their World Cup path against Croatia, and straight into you, starting 11. What are your thoughts?
Before that, I just want to say congratulations for how the Fab View has blown up, especially with a recent short with an accumulating number of views. Some might even say you've burst onto the scene like a certain goods. And so we're going to see how that goes. So well done. I'm very much looking forward to both games today, seeing Portugal potentially struggle and then seeing England have a great game against Croatia. So we'll see
we're also going to have one with that's going to be post match, so stay tuned to that if you're watching this game. After the Portugal versus Congo, we're going to have a post match with me and Pitch. But yeah, let's go into it. Starting 11 for you today. England.
It's going to be identical to the Costa Rica game. I think that is going to be our starting 11. So Pickford in goal, Reece James at right back, centre backs of John Stones, and who is the other one? How have I forgotten?
Conta?
Konsa, that's it. Ezri Konsa and John Stones, Nico O'Reilly at left back. Midfield three of Bellingham, Rice and Anderson, and then Madueke, Kane and Gordon up top. I think he'll go for John Stones over Gahey because he's a more experienced player, and the Croatia game is going to be the hardest one we're going to have to face on paper in the group. And I believe it's obvious that Saka is not 100% at full fitness yet, and so Madueke will mimic his profile, mimic what he gives, and they'll start the exact same way.
So on that, you made a couple of interesting points, and you mentioned the situation with John Stones, which it's curious to me because Gay starts ahead of John Stones in Man City. Actually, technically, John Stones, although still in the contract at the end of the month, but is out of a club now, and while Gay is on the club that he basically replaced John Stones this season. So you don't see that being a problem moving forward, especially if, let's say, England doesn't get the result that they want. We're going to talk about that in a second. You don't see that as a potential problem in the locker room?
I don't. I think that Guardiola was quite clear when speaking about John Stones that he has been able to play, and Pep chose to play players that were staying at Manchester City. They seemed to know for many months that John Stones was not going to be offered a new deal or sign a new deal and that he'd be on the way out. So they prioritised giving minutes to those players that would be staying at the club, which I think is very sensible. He stated openly that John Stones is in great physical condition and should be able to have a positive impact wherever he plays. So I think that considering he's played in World Cups previously, whereas Mark Gahey hasn't, I think for this opening game against a potentially very tough opponent, he'll go for John Stones.
Cool. And ultimately, at least you're going to be better on the ball with him there instead of Gahey. But yeah, so in that sense, so with that starting lineup, how do you see England's approach to this game against Croatia?
I'm hoping they'll look to control the tempo, which is something that the Croatia team's been very good at in recent years. They've always had a very strong midfield three with Modric, Brozovic in the past. And I think that this England team will want to make sure they've got higher possession, being able to dictate the tempo of the game to create chances. I expect the front three to be quite fluid. We know that Harry Kane will often drop inside to the middle to create a fourth option. And we know that players like Madueke and Gordon, with their speed, can easily interlink with players in the centre. So Jude Bellingham will float out wide. We're expecting the fullbacks to also go and join the attack as well. They may not be overlapping, but they'll certainly be looking to, combine on the inside. And I'm hopeful that we can play a style of football that suits the players that we have. I think we're good enough to dictate the tempo against some of the best teams, the best countries on the planet. And we've got pacey attackers on the wing, so I don't see what more you need to beat a team like Croatia.
And they are quite aging as well, which is something that I think might be a factor, especially in later stages of games where the heat and the fact that we are at the end of a season already could have an impact for sure there. And on that note, and again linked with how they're going to play, who do you think is going to be the most important player for England today? Who do you think is the player that's going to have more impact?
I think for sure Harry Kane. I think he has to be the threat. whether that's a direct threat to goal himself or doing what he's been doing very well for Bayern Munich all year, which is dropping in deeper and creating options for players ahead of him. I think that I would hope that he recognizes that if he threatens the other team, we should have a good chance of scoring many goals. I don't want him to drift inside too much and too often, meaning that he doesn't have any chances for himself. At the same time, I think in a game like today, where we should be able to create many chances, he should be the focal point of that attack. And provided he does what he does very well, he'll score lots of goals. Maybe not lots, but he'll definitely threat.
Yeah, Harry Kane is arguably the most informed centre forward in the world right now. Had a fantastic season with Bayern Munich, and he always has to be a player that people have to account for sure. And I agree with you. For me, I raised the issue of the dynamic between him and Bellingham and how that's going to work in this World Cup. And they have to find a successful formula for the team to be successful, I think. But yeah, I think Harry Kane has to be one, if not the most important player in this game in terms of scoring goals and when you create, especially because I think Croatia is probably going to sit a little bit deeper than they would normally do in previous years because of the age and all those factors that we mentioned before. So yeah, no, completely agree with you. And now the connecting a little bit with history, because obviously the last time you guys played Croatia was in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, and you guys ended up they ended your run in the World Cup at the time with a 4-1 defeat for England. Do you see a lot of the players that were in that game or in that squad? Some of them are definitely in this World Cup, Harry Kane being one of them. Do you see this having any impact, positive, negative? What do you see for England in that part, psychological side?
I'm sure the English players will want to prove a point. Most of them didn't play in that game, and so it will be like facing any other opponent, but they will recognize and understand that the nation wants them to win this game convincingly. So if there's any sort of cobwebs from that hanging over people, let's cast it aside, let's move on from it. I don't see there being any negative impact to it whatsoever. I think that it will just be used as a positive. Let's go and show the world what we're made of, and let's go and let's go and win and dominate this difficult group game that we've got.
Yeah. Well, you'll be happy to know that currently predictions point for 49% of England winning this game. Only 20 something for Croatia. I can't remember exactly what the percentage was, but it was one of the 20s. So England, for me as well, heavy favorite, and I really look forward to it against the Croatia team that probably is on the last straws of a lot of players in that squad. And could be a farewell for a lot of players, Modric being one of them. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Obviously, we'll be talking throughout the day and throughout the game as well. Right after Portugal, right? England plays after Portugal, I think.
It's
So.
9:00 off, yeah. So
yeah, exactly. So I'll definitely be watching both games. Yeah, thank you for your insight, Chris. Really lovely to see you as always. And I look forward to see this game and obviously Portugal as well very soon.
Let's go.
Take care, everyone. Take care.